Buttons. So many buttons. Morning, everybody. Welcome to your Friday. I hope you're having a decent morning. Um, Good morning, Brian. Thanks for helping out. I just wanted to get us checked in. I'm curious today. I think I'm just very curious. I'm wondering about maybe ways that you found um, in this time to stay engaged in some kind of service. It's been limited for us at the church, rightfully so. We're trying to make sure that we're not putting any of our direct foundry community into situations that uh, could lead to extra transmission, or trying to make sure that we're not inadvertently bringing guests in to spaces where they could inadvertently increase transmissions. But I know there's lots of ways that people could help out. Lots of donations have been happening, which is wonderful. I'm curious if you found any interesting ways to stay engaged. And I'm wondering about that just because I had to talk with another United Methodist deacon this week, and as they're planning for what is the 25th anniversary of the Order of Deacons. They're trying to have a little celebration, but they had sent me over a bit of scripture from Isaiah 58, 9 through 12, and it talks about kind of removing the burdens off of us, ending the kind of finger pointing of blaming, and finding ways that light can kind of rise in what's an otherwise challenging time. And it talks about it in terms of like losing yourself in service um, to others. So I'm curious about if that's been something true for you. I think I've in the moments where we have been able to find um, space to be in service, even with just our limited kind of services, we've been able to continue like on Friday mornings. People have stepped up through Sandwich 1000. People have stepped up on their own. People have, as Jim has put in the chat, a group of folks got together to think about alternative forms of purchasing through equal exchange. And there was a talk last night. The folks that usually help us in our kind of Advent sales, they gave us a talk about like how you can do that just on the day to day last night. So I'm curious if you found ways. I'll drop the scripture um, in the chat, and yeah. So I'm just curious. Maybe leave us a note. We are looking at how we can safely continue to come back together and expand like the amount of service that we're doing, but uh, without causing undue harm. Because you know, do no harm. So step one, do no harm. But I'm curious if this has been true for you at all. Like, are you finding the ways that you can lose yourself in service to not only lift others but also um, lift yourself a bit in these moments? And we'll continue to try and find the safe ways to do it. Some of the best ways that we've seen from partners is to continue to try and engage with the food banks. You know, they have the large open spaces, and it's critically needed. There's a lot of food insecurity, but they've got the warehouse type spaces. They can open up all the doors, get the good ventilation flow, everybody mask up, and you can help um, put together food bags for folks who need it. So like Capital Area Food Bank, Manna out in Montgomery County, all of the counties, Northern Virginia, everybody's got them. So there's probably something local to you, even if you're not in DC. You can find it. I know Michael Stevens watches. Michael Stevens had been helping out with some of the breakfast programs, I think, at Capitol Hill, and they managed to do that safely. So I'm just curious about the ways that you guys have found that you can continue to be in service for one another, and we'll keep trying to put out options for you. And I also know that Martha's Table, especially the location that is in Southeast and the location that's near Columbia Heights, they've asked for more volunteers. So I'm hopeful that maybe you can look into that. The other things that are going on, and it's just another form of service. We have those mercy items. We meet the needs of food, shelter, water. We have the justice items where we work on the systemic issues, and that work goes on. And especially with our partners at Washington Interfaith Network and our partners with the Way Home campaign. Um, and we continue those fights around chronic homelessness and around affordable housing and jobs. Street Sense actually put out an article yesterday that we can drop in here to talk about. We had 6 more unhoused neighbors who've passed away just in the last month. We've had 25 unhoused neighbors who have died uh, from complications related to COVID directly, um, which puts that at around 2% of the total um, deaths in DC, and that's 2% of the deaths. They're only barely 0.2% of the total population. So, we know that it's affecting groups unequally, and really vulnerable groups are the ones that bear the brunt. So, over 70% of the deaths in DC are uh, African American residents, and so we continue to see the unequal health outcomes because of systemic issues. So that justice work goes on now through those partners. So don't hesitate to reach out about how to connect. There is big time movements happening with WIN in terms of fights around um, how we're going to continue to build. Like development in DC really hasn't slowed down much, um, and so the continued need to replace affordable units, public housing units that are decades delayed at this point, and any new development in places like Reservation 13 and around RFK Stadium. Um, those things need your voice to ensure a more equitable outcome. And so I hope that you won't hesitate to either reach out to me or to Jackie or anybody on the staff and ask, like, how can I get involved? The fastest way to stay involved is to be um, connected directly to the kind of newsletters that go out regularly from our partners at Washington Interfaith Network, our partners with the Congregation Action Network, if you want to work on immigration, our partners with the Way Home campaign, if you want to continue to help us work on chronic homelessness, especially in the upcoming DC budget season. So, like, what did you find ways? Are you finding ways to put yourself in a position um, where you can lose yourself in service to others? And I hope that can be a source of hope for you in these moments. Do check out the Isaiah passage, maybe see what it means to you. Maybe it means something. Maybe it's hitting you in a completely um, different way. But that's what landed with me this week. It's part of our call. It's part of our work all the time. So I hope you'll continue to help me connect you and continue to stay connected with us so that we can continue to be a community in service to each other and to those who are most vulnerable in these moments. That's kind of what we got. Prayerfully considering like how keep your mask on, get your shots. It's the catchphrase for DC is it's up to us. Don't doubt that the measures you're taking make a difference. We hit a grim milestone of 1,000 deaths in the district, but compared to other localities with similar sized populations, we know that it could have been much, much worse. So don't doubt that the steps you take for distance and masking really make a difference. And that's in the numbers. It's terrible that we've even gotten this far, but we know it could have been much worse. So don't doubt that the stuff you're doing to keep yourself and others safe, it does make a difference. So please keep doing it. Pastor Kelly was on the radio last night. You can find that interview. I think we posted it maybe. And then I was accidentally on the news on Wednesday. I don't recommend finding that interview. It wasn't polished. So maybe go find the one from Pastor Kelly. Stay in contact with us. Check us out. We'll see you on Sunday, 11:15. Have a good Friday. Hopefully the rain will maybe hold off so that you can enjoy the sunshine tomorrow. I doubt it, but so get out there today. Get yourself outside. Get some sunshine. We will see you very soon. Bye bye, friends.